The walking party return. No reputation has been damaged. Then again, no relationships have been formed. The chaperones have kept their girls in order, but they have yet to play their part in getting the men and women together.
I think that a lot of the young ladies are trying really, really hard, but they're not getting any direction from the chaperones. If I was a chaperone, I'd tell you what, I'd be doing a hell of a lot more to try and get my charge sold. Because I've only got 6 weeks left, and if I don't get her married, then when I get back, I've failed. Could we perhaps control...
Mr. Gorrell Barnes takes the chaperones to task.
It's a very difficult thing to do, but I think we need to think about being slightly more creative as to coming up with solutions where they may meet the men and where they may meet the ladies. And I think that the whole emphasis of trying to get your charge married needs to be thought about.
But I know exactly what you're saying, but we're dealing with,
no, I know,
you know, 28-year-old, 29-year-old
I totally...
smartasses.
Yeah. I know it's very, very difficult because people might not like each other, but they need to try and...
It is to try and get your charge engaged, isn't it?
But I think that you might find that the young ladies are less compliant than we are.
Well, I'm happily to have the same conversation with them if you think that that's a good idea. Women are unbelievable, aren't they? It's just... God.
I'm sure that Victoria would say I've been a really useless chaperone. I've never been there for a blah-de-blah, but if I had been there for more in her face, she would have had me for lunch. You know, there was no way that I could have been more in her face than I was, and it would have been tolerated.
A further frustration to any possibility of romance, while the men are allowed to stay up and party, at 11 o'clock, the women are escorted to bed. It's a firm rule. Once the chaperones have retired, no woman is allowed downstairs.
Have you done the other one? Stop sneaking a peek from men.
I want the counters up here now, please.
I'll go and try and find it.
I'm getting cross.
OK. I'll try and find it.
It's nothing to do with you. The footman should be going to find it.
Hostess Mrs. Rogers suspects Gorrell Barnes might be taking advantage of his position and her charge.
I am meant to be the one in charge of the morals in this house, not you. And I do not think it is appropriate for the Countess to be in your room when everybody else is in bed.
In my room?
Well, where else has she come from?
I was standing in the porch.
Well, thank you very much.
Well, I mean, I think it's just not right.
I was standing in the porch and I asked...
in the porch?
Mr. Gorrell Barnes, was anybody in the porch? Because I wanted to go and stand outside.
If I allow my charge to go off at night when all the other girls have gone to bed,
okay,
it just looks really bad on you.
With frustrations between the sexes being felt in the Regency House, host Mr. Gorrell Barnes leads his guests to Sunday church. Affluent Regency gentlemen were not, on the whole, a religious lot, but they were great respecters of duty, money, and status. So Mr. Gorrell Barnes rides at the head of the procession with Mr. Everett, the second richest man of the party. The lower-ranking men and women are left to walk behind. For Regency women, church-going provided an opportunity to exhibit modesty, virtue, and piety. These attributes, coupled with virginity, were deemed a potent lure for any man.
Here you all are, and you've made a commitment to the project of the Regency House Party out of a desire to discover another way of looking at relationships and out of a hope that you may find someone with whom you might share your life.
In the 21st century, you meet somebody and you might, you know, in bed with them in a few hours, whereas here it takes a lot longer. So yes, one's attitude to women has changed a lot.
Not for you, the chance encounter which leads to an experiment in relationship,
I do feel quite stifled and smothered and constricted.
Definitely, the more time I spend in here, the more I realise how important love and affection is in my life.
I can't describe the emotion. You can't hug people. You can't just go like this because it's these bloody, stupid Regency bloody rules.
In Regency times, the repressed longings being felt by our house party found a macabre release. The world of Gothic novels with their ghosts, demons and vampires excited frustrated desires. On his way to the house is a companion of these dark realms.
He's interested in hearing a review of The Monk. Lust, murder, incest, necrophilia, and every atrocity that can disgrace human nature are brought together without the apology of probability or even possibility for their introduction. Oh, good.
Though scandalous, as cartoonist Gilray observed, The Monk by Matthew Lewis was popular with the ladies.
He caught her hand, forced her upon his knee, and gazing upon her with gloating eyes, he thus replied to her.
No, Antonia, never, never. I swear it by this kiss, and this, and this.
You know, monks disguising themselves and raping and pillaging and all the rest of it. It's certainly very black, very dark. And Jane Austen it ain't.
I think that young girls at the period enjoyed reading these scary Gothic novels because they so singularly lacked any physical excitement. And the thrill of horror is something, well, physical. I mean, they were just like books on the top shelf that your parents tell you not to read. They're for grown-ups. You know, excellent manuals on how to do sex.
The mystery visitor arrives. Kim Newman is a Gothic author and horror film writer. While he would have been a great celebrity in the Regency, having him to the house would have been considered very risque.
And of course, since the Goths were the barbarians who overthrew the Roman Empire, yeah, signing yourself up with them, or you know, the Vandals or whatever, was I don't know, like adopting punk rock. You know, it's like whatever your parents were going to hate, you were going to admire.
Gorrell Barnes is hoping to use Kim Newman's knowledge of Regency Gothic to stir things up among his younger guests. To bring further excitement to Gothic Night, Mr. Gorrell Barnes has hired a travelling light show. Phantasmagoria was the Regency equivalent of horror cinema.
That's cool.
Huh?
Yeah.
Gorrell Barnes has decreed that everyone should dress up for his Gothic banquet. Fancy dress or masks allowed young people to do what was not normally allowed.
I think we're going next door.
Mr. Gorrell Barnes takes full advantage of his disguise to get up close to the Countess.